Have you ever driven on a trail and just got whipped in the face by branches and everything? And you wish that those branches were cut off and there was an easy way to do it? In this video, I'm gonna make something that I hope will make my life so much easier and I can do all the trails at once. And it's right here. Check it out. I'm setting the blades up with a 1-inch overlap. I'm using this string so that I can measure the pulleys and get the measurement for the size of the belt I'm going to need. And it came out to 28 inches, so I ordered a 29-inch belt. I reversed my clamp because the belts showed up and they were really stiff, so I wanted to get an accurate measurement, so I needed something to spread them out. This was the first time I used a transfer punch, and it seemed to work really good. When you add the drill chuck and the drill bit, you have to loosen this bolt to get it to slide up so that there's enough room. This is my first mag drill, and I can't believe how useful it is. There would have been no way to take this to the drill press. Here I'm just showing that I didn't adjust the ways, so the weight of the drill was making it come down. Later on I adjusted the ways and it would stay in place. I noticed that after you adjust it, once you put a load on it, it'll ramp up. It made it a little hard the first hole to adjust the speed because I kept on changing the pressure and it would ramp up and slow down, so that was interesting. Here I'm just trying to show you how fast I can cut this hole. Normally I peck at it so you don't get them long burrs, because if those burrs catch your skin or your finger, it can take the meat right off. I know you guys are cringing, but this is the only way I can figure it out because I don't have a brake on the head or the gearbox. And I don't know how to use the threading part of the lathe yet. If you don't know, this is not an efficient way of doing this. If I had to do it all over again, I'd probably go to a local machine shop and have them put it on their power mill or milling machine. Here I had to switch it to plunge cutting because it kept on riding up the edge as I was doing it in the slot. Just trying different ways. The vise keeps moving around. I tightened up the ways as much as I could, but there was just so much movement. It took a lot of time to get it to work, but it did work in the end. Doesn't look pretty, but it got the job done. I'm pretty stubborn, and this proves it. This was taking forever, so I decided to take it to the grinder and get most of the meat off, and then finish it off with a milling bit. I'm doing this to give me something to grab onto when I tighten on the blades. The engine doesn't come with this bolt right here. When I weld vertically, I like to do a root pass first, going up, and then coming down, I'll try to make it look pretty on the second pass. I was having a tough time lining this up because this 12-inch flat stock seems to have a crown to it. I don't know why, but it seems like every project I do, I end up using a piece of scrap. This has been outside probably for a few years. I'm going to try this new tool out, and it's a Harbor Freight special, but I think they make quality tools. These are just filler welds. Remember, I welded on the bottom side. This lathe is from the 40s, and it has these oil ports, so I add oil on the days that I use it. I made this drive shaft so I can mount the motor to the one side so that the blades and everything on the other side won't be too heavy, because I intend to have this thing shifted to the left so that I can cut the trail and not be in the brush. This mag drill is pretty impressive. I don't even have half of it on the metal plate, but it still has enough grip to make the hole. I thought this side cutter would be better, but it still wants to walk up the material too. So I went back to the punch cutting method. This is a good example of how much movement that vise has. When I get close to the end, it wants to bite and walk up the material, so I had to use a side cutter to get it to finish out the slot. Even after all that, I still had to fine tune it with a file. Imagine if I did this in the summertime. You can grind it in a 45-degree angle so you can get the nut on, or you can chase it with a die to clean up the threads. You can also keep the nut on, cut it, and then take the nut off, and then the thread should be fine. Here I'm putting locator pins in. The cover is kind of tall and the bolts are kind of long, so I don't want it to move around. And I'm just making sure I could put them on the inside. That way you can't see them. When I work on cars, I always take the old rusty bolts and run it across the wire wheel. But this seems to work pretty good doing this too, because the nut goes right on. I think this is even faster than messing with a die or putting a bolt on the stud. Here I'm just showing a flashlight really close to the surface so you can get all the little BBs off before you paint. I noticed in the past if you leave the BBs on there, the paint will rub off in that spot and it'll start rusting there first. The search for the perfect marking pin in the shop is over. Check out this crisp line. If you go too slow though, it'll run. Whew. This is what I do with my old socks with holes in them. They work really good inside out. Hey babe, I'm using it again. How come always the last one is always a pain? I probably messed with this for like 20 minutes. Okay. Boy, I'm glad I saved these bed springs from like a day bed back in, I don't know, 2010. I put thread locker on all the grub screws. These bolts are extra long because they actually off of another battery tray I use. When I cut my zip ties, I like to pinch it up close, give it a twist, and then cut them. That'll make them tighter. This is just break-in oil, so scrounge up whatever leftovers you got and dump it in. I had 12 foot of wire for the switch, for the clutch, so I use heat shrink to keep it all together. I don't know if you guys do this, but when I break in my motor, I usually put some 2-cycle so the top end gets a little bit of lube. And just like breaking a bottle on a bow of a boat, you got to dump some gas on top of it too. This is first start. I hope it works. I already got the gas on. Let's turn that on. Wow, that thing just started right up like
yeah, it did.
That's straight out of the box. All right, rev it up. Actually, I don't like to rev it up.
Yeah, I was going to say you shouldn't rev it up anyway.
All right, engage the blade. Only one. Stand back. Oh, I got to run it up a little bit higher RPM. See, turn it off. I got to let it warm up. All right, let's see if I can get her to go this time. Look at the blade. Woo. Yeah, it might be a lot of torque on it. I might have to rev it all the way up. I'm just gonna have to rev it up, I guess. Uh-oh. It may not be able to pull the torque. That's not good.
That's only one blade.
That's all the way up.
And that's only one blade.
This may not be working.
There we go. It's going now.
There we go. Got it. It works.
Yeah.
Now I gotta check the RPM. 2,500. The trick now is to get all the blades on,
Yeah.
and see if it'll kick in.
All right.
The motor hasn't even been broke in either.
Right.
You know, I'm putting a lot of load in it.
Yeah.
But man, it starts kind of hard. Harder than I expected it would. But it did do it. Once it gets going, it's fine. Man, that's nuts.
That's gonna chop some stuff up.
The next day, I made my neighbor so jealous. I ran this thing for 3 hours. Tried it a couple more times. It looks like I got to go back to the drawing board. Well, that didn't work out so good. I'm running 2.8, basically just a little bit over 2 3/4 pulleys on the blades themselves. And that electric PTO clutch from a lawnmower, you know, or it's made for like a rider or whatever, that one has like a 6-inch pulley. It's pretty high geared, because I was thinking, you know, one take of fuel, I could go for like hours. Now I'm thinking I gotta lower the pulley size, or the drive pulley size. The clutch I ordered has a 4-inch clutch, so I'm hoping that's gonna be the right size. So off camera, I was trying to use this wire and use the idler pulley as like a clutch, and it seemed to work if I eased into it. So a centrifugal clutch is the way to go. The other thing too is now I don't have to worry about having a switch that I have to mount to the tractor or anything. All I have to do is have a throttle cable, and I just rev it up and it'll just engage. There's a lot of little things like that I thought I figured out, but like I said before, I was gearing it for RPM and not gearing it for the actual engagement. I did not think that was going to be an issue. Unfortunately, you know, nothing ever works out like you think, because I was going to have it done this week so I could finish this video so you guys would have something to watch. Luckily, there's a lot of other guys out there that make video content, because if you relied on me by myself, then probably you'd be pretty bored waiting. This thing came set up so you could just add a throttle cable. So that's what I did. And then I ran it through the frame here. You can see it on the other side. And then I made this slot so I could take it on and off really easy. Just tighten the nuts and then just lay it in there and remove it. Takes like 5 minutes. Here's the new clutch and a new belt. It's actually a better belt than the one that was on there. All right, we're gonna try this again. I got the new clutch in, another belt, and then this is the second time I'm gonna run it. I put a line on the blade so you can see it, and another line on the shaft here so you can see that. Cross your fingers. Hold on, I'm gonna let it warm up. Not sure why, but that blade is not loose. I think it has something to do with the camera. All right, at idle it's like 1600, 16 to 1700 at idle. This thing has a hell of a ring. I couldn't tell with my earmuffs on, but I can hear it in the video here. This is the biggest branch I can find, so we'll have to try this. Outside of the finger. And don't worry, I did make a safety cover for the dry shaft, you know, for you safety guys out there. I just wanted to check the RPM when it was idling so I could adjust that, and it seemed to be fine, so we're good to go. That clutch kicks in at 2000 RPMs, seems to have no problem kicking in. By the way, this is left over from a hood that I installed in the kitchen this winter. Look at that. Perfect fit. I'm sitting down because this machine wore me out. You know, I took a lot of time and effort and tried to figure out every little thing and used what I had, and probably used a lot of the wrong tools to get it done. Hopefully this summer we can do all the trails and actually enjoy our time at the property instead of working the whole time. I appreciate all the new subscribers and everybody hanging out and checking out the videos and leaving comments. Thanks for watching, and keep it on the sunny side. I saved a bucket load of shavings doing this project. Pole saws are great, but after a while, they get really heavy.